Have you ever wondered why so many women, as they grow older, seem to develop a certain level of frustration, resentment, or even dislike toward their husbands? This is not just a stereotype or an occasional complaint from one or two couples. It is a widespread experience, and there are very practical reasons behind it. The early years of marriage are often filled with love, excitement, and the joys of building a life together. But over time, responsibilities grow, expectations change, and personal growth takes different directions for both partners. As women age, they undergo significant physical, emotional, and psychological changes that influence their perspectives on relationships. One of the most common reasons women start to feel distant from their husbands is the imbalance in household responsibilities. Many women, even those who work full-time jobs, still find themselves managing the majority of domestic duties. Cooking, cleaning, grocery shopping, managing the children's needs, and handling social obligations often fall disproportionately on women. Over the years, this imbalance leads to exhaustion and resentment. Imagine a woman who has been taking care of her family for decades. She has sacrificed her personal interests, hobbies, and even career opportunities to keep the household running smoothly. As she enters her 50s and 60s, she starts to reflect on her life and asks herself, did I ever truly live for myself? Did I receive the appreciation and support I deserved? If she feels unappreciated or taken for granted, her attitude towards her husband can change dramatically. Another major factor is communication breakdown. In the early stages of a relationship, couples talk, share their dreams, discuss their day, and express their love openly. But as life progresses, daily conversations often become transactional. Have you paid the bills? What's for dinner? Did you pick up the kids? These types of exchanges replace deeper, more meaningful conversations. Over time, emotional intimacy fades. When women feel unheard or misunderstood, they begin to withdraw. It's not an overnight change, but a gradual shift that happens over years. One day, she wakes up and realizes that the emotional connection she once had with her husband has weakened, or even disappeared entirely. Physical changes also play a role in this dynamic. Women go through menopause, which brings hormonal shifts, mood swings, and sometimes a decreased interest in physical intimacy. If a husband is unaware or unsupportive during this stage, his wife may start feeling emotionally abandoned. A lack of physical affection or emotional reassurance can lead to resentment and distance in the relationship. Another important aspect is the evolution of personal values and priorities. Over time, people change. A woman who was once focused on raising children may develop new interests, passions, and perspectives. She might want to travel, take up new hobbies, or engage in meaningful work. If her husband remains stagnant, refusing to adapt or grow alongside her, she may begin to see him as an obstacle rather than a partner. Part 2. Financial independence and changing expectations. As women age, their financial independence and social roles evolve, often shifting the dynamics of marriage. In the past, many women relied on their husbands as the primary breadwinners. However, today, an increasing number of women achieve financial independence, whether through careers, investments, or personal savings. This shift changes the power balance in relationships. Financial independence allows women to make choices based on their happiness rather than economic necessity. When a woman no longer depends on her husband for financial security, she is more likely to evaluate whether her relationship is fulfilling. If she finds herself in a marriage where she feels undervalued, ignored, or emotionally neglected, she has the option to distance herself or even leave without financial fear. Additionally, with financial stability comes a sense of self-worth. A woman who has spent years prioritizing her family may now want to invest in herself. She may pursue higher education, start a business, or engage in activities that bring her joy. If her husband is not supportive or dismisses these ambitions, resentment can grow. She may begin to view him as someone who is holding her back rather than a supportive partner. Beyond financial independence, societal expectations have also changed. In previous generations, women were expected to tolerate marital dissatisfaction because divorce was stigmatized, and their economic survival depended on their husbands. Today, societal norms are shifting. Women are encouraged to prioritize their happiness, mental health, and personal growth. As a result, many older women begin to realize that they no longer have to settle for a life that does not fulfill them. If their marriage lacks emotional intimacy, companionship, or mutual respect, they start questioning its value. They are less likely to tolerate behaviors they once ignored, such as dismissiveness, lack of communication, or a partner's unwillingness to evolve. Another key factor is how couples spend their retirement years. Many women dream of traveling, pursuing hobbies, or enjoying newfound freedom. However, if their husbands expect them to continue the same routines of household management and caregiving, conflict arises. Women who have spent decades putting others first may finally prioritize themselves, leading to frustration if their husbands resist change. This concludes part 2. Stay tuned for the next segment, where we will explore how emotional neglect and changing perspectives on companionship further impact relationships as couples grow older. As we continue exploring the reasons why women start to dislike their husbands as they get older, it's important to recognize how daily interactions shape long-term emotions. The smallest gestures, or the lack of them, contribute significantly to the way a woman feels about her husband over time. One of the biggest reasons why women become emotionally distant is because they feel unheard. When they share their thoughts, frustrations, or even joys, and their husband barely acknowledges them, it creates a wall between them. Over time, this emotional wall grows thicker, and the wife stops sharing altogether. She starts to withdraw, and eventually, she feels like her husband is no longer the partner she once adored. Men often don't realize this is happening. They assume that if there's no conflict, then everything is fine. But emotional neglect is silent. It doesn't come with loud arguments or dramatic fights. It's a slow erosion of connection that, one day, makes a woman feel like she is living with a stranger rather than a spouse. Women are naturally more expressive and seek emotional closeness in a relationship, but when their attempts to connect are met with indifference or distraction, they begin to shut down. A wife may repeatedly tell her husband about something that's bothering her, and if he doesn't engage, she eventually stops trying. At that point, her emotions shift from disappointment to detachment. One of the major factors that increase resentment over time is the imbalance of responsibilities. Many women find themselves doing the majority of household chores, managing the children, and even handling the emotional labor of the marriage. Remembering anniversaries, checking in on each other's feelings, and maintaining the emotional well-being of the relationship. When a husband fails to recognize how much his wife is doing, she starts feeling unappreciated, and unappreciation slowly turns into resentment. Let's take an example. A woman works all day, just like her husband, but when they come home, she is the one who cooks, cleans, takes care of the children, and manages the household. The husband, on the other hand, may feel that his job is done for the day. He might relax, watch TV, or use his phone, assuming that his wife is handling things, because she always does. At first, she may not complain. She may even take pride in managing everything. But over the years, exhaustion builds up. She begins to feel like she's living with a roommate rather than a life partner. And when exhaustion turns into emotional detachment, the marriage starts to feel empty. Many women don't vocalize their frustrations right away. They suppress their feelings, believing that their husbands will eventually notice and appreciate them. But when this recognition never comes, the disappointment grows. This is why, after many years, some women simply stop trying to maintain the connection. They no longer feel like they are in a partnership. Instead, they feel like they are carrying the marriage alone. Another major reason why women start disliking their husbands as they get older is because of a lack of emotional intimacy. Physical intimacy is important in any relationship, but for women, emotional intimacy is just as crucial. If a husband stops engaging emotionally, stops asking how her day was, stops complimenting her, stops making her feel special, the wife will eventually start feeling lonely in the relationship. For many women, the emotional bond is what makes them feel attracted to their husbands. When that bond weakens, their desire to spend time with their husbands also fades. This is why so many long-term marriages struggle with intimacy issues. Not because the love is gone, but because the emotional connection has been lost. Many men believe that if they provide financially and remain faithful, they are fulfilling their role as a husband. But relationships need more than just physical presence. They need emotional engagement, effort, and continuous connection. When a woman feels emotionally neglected for years, she doesn't just wake up one day and decide to leave. She slowly drifts away until one day she realizes she no longer feels anything for her husband at all. So, what can be done? How can husbands prevent this emotional distance from taking over their marriage? The first step is awareness. Understanding that marriage requires continuous effort is key. Husbands need to actively participate in the relationship, not just exist in it. This means listening, truly listening, when their wives speak. It means sharing responsibilities, making small romantic gestures, and showing appreciation for everything their wives do. Another important step is communication. Many couples fall into the trap of assuming their partner knows how they feel. But no one is a mind reader. If a woman is feeling overwhelmed, neglected, or unappreciated, she may not always say it outright. She might express it through body language, through silence, or through emotional withdrawal. Husbands who pay attention to these signs and take action can prevent long-term resentment from forming. It's also important to maintain emotional and physical intimacy. Small gestures, like a kind word, a surprise compliment, a simple hug, can make a world of difference. These small moments remind a wife that she is valued and cherished, keeping the emotional connection strong. At the end of the day, a marriage thrives on mutual effort. If only one partner is trying while the other is simply coexisting, resentment will inevitably build. But with effort, awareness, and consistent connection, love can last a lifetime. In the next part of this video, we will explore real-life stories of couples who face these challenges and turn their marriages around. Stay with me as we uncover the secrets to keeping a marriage strong, even as the years go by. As we conclude, it's clear that relationships evolve over time, and the key to a lasting marriage is understanding, effort, and communication. Recognizing the changes and adapting to them with patience and empathy can prevent distance from growing between partners. Every marriage has challenges, but those who acknowledge and address them with love and respect will find their bond strengthening rather than weakening. Thank you for watching, and if you found this insightful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content on relationships and life insights.